What's going on, everyone? My name is Jeff, and Aurora Cannabis got some big news this morning. Now guys, the marijuana sector has not been seeing very much action at all lately. As a matter of fact, most of these stocks are declining right now. So I think the case is that these marijuana stocks are not getting traded on nearly as much hype anymore, and they're being graded a lot more carefully on their earnings reports and bringing real news and partnerships to the table, okay? So when I say ACB got a push from some news, you know, as you can see here, it was only about 2.46%. And I think it's fair to say that if this news hit maybe 1 or 2 months ago, it probably would have pushed the stock 10 or 12% in one day. So like I said, I think reality is kind of setting in, and that's why it's so important to be invested in the absolute best marijuana companies. So you have to put Canopy Growth and Aurora Cannabis at the very top of your list. I do want to talk a bit more about the marijuana market and how some of these stocks have slowed down quite a bit, and we'll get into that a little bit more at the end of the video. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any content or future update videos. And feel free to drop a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it, guys. I appreciate all the support. So around 10:25 this morning, news came out that Aurora Cannabis stock has jumped up because it just won a big marijuana deal in Germany. So when something like this happens, of course what it is that institutional investors and retail investors alike, we all start to assume that their growing capacity is going to go up, and obviously we're going to start seeing more revenue coming in, and that the company is just getting bigger with this move, and all of those things will be true. So I'm not even going to attempt to try to pronounce some of these German names, but basically guys, Aurora was selected by the German Federal Institute for Drugs and Medical Devices as one of 3 winners in the public tender to cultivate and distribute medical cannabis in Germany. Now this contract will be formalized at the earliest on April 17th, 2019, so that is just a couple of days away. That is pending the outcome of an appeal procedure on which a ruling is anticipated by the 10th of April. And ironically enough, Aphria is actually reporting earnings on the 10th, and so make sure to pay attention to your news because you will want to know what the judgment of that ruling is. So this again is something I think really puts Aurora on a different planet, not just from a company standpoint and trying to satisfy customers and employees, but also how they really appeal to the investors. So the tender saw 79 different companies participating, with the winners able to establish production in Germany upon the completion of the contract associated with the tender. And so how these companies were selected was from the submission of a concept of domestic cannabis production, delivery, and pricing. So there's a lot of different things being taken into consideration here, and Aurora Cannabis was one of the 3 most attractive companies to them. And their concept, which was judged on criteria such as facility design, quality, security, and logistics, received the highest ranking out of all concepts submitted, validating the company's leadership in integrated cultivation, production, and delivery. So guys, I think that speaks very, very highly about Aurora. And so they were awarded the maximum number of 5 out of the 13 lots in the tender over a period of 4 years, with a minimum supply of 4,000 kilograms total. The cannabis produced will be sold to the German government and supplied to wholesalers for distribution of pharmacies. And let's talk about this guy for a little while. This is Chief Corporate Officer Cam Batley. What he does a really good job of is keeping investors very focused on Aurora. And you know, half of keeping the stock moving where it needs to be, but keeping the confidence of the investor constantly moving in the right direction. And I really do appreciate that kind of leadership in a company, okay? You have to have people at the helm that are willing to grab the bull by the horns and keep pulling, even when sometimes there's not a lot of news to report. But he did come out and have a question and answer earlier this week, guys, and he said by the end of next year, ACB will have 500,000 kilograms plus. There's only 2 companies in the world on pace to produce that many kilograms a year, and he said it is ACB and Canopy Growth. And the sheer speed of the growth is enormous. A little more than a year ago today, we had a capacity of 5,000 kilograms per year at our first facility north of Calgary. And by now we're about 150,000 kilograms here, and we're headed for 500,000. The only thing I want to tell you as investors is even if they do fall short a little bit, keep in mind they are driving this company, and there is a lot of pressure in all the right places at ACB. So what I've got pulled up here, guys, is the 1 month chart for Canopy Growth, Aurora, Cron, MJ, and Tilray, okay? And as you can see, Aurora Cannabis is the only company to have survived any kind of gain over the past month. So up here in the red, that's Aurora. They actually gained 13.2% going back to March 5th. Now let's drop down to ticker symbol MJ, okay? Which I believe is the best representation of the marijuana industry as a whole, and it's about exactly where I would expect it to be, right in the middle. But even MJ has took about a 2.6% loss over the past month. Canopy Growth at about a 9.7% loss, and then Tilray at a negative 22.56%, and also Cron, after its massive run, is down about 22.36%. So the industry as a whole is seeing some decline over the past month, you know, with the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average actually moving towards all-time highs. You know, this industry is slowing down, it's cooling off a little bit. And guys, these companies are going to have to start justifying their market cap. And really the only way that this is going to happen, guys, is through earnings. In my opinion, ACB is the best one to be invested in. Because right here, guys, I have the 3 month chart pulled up. And Aurora Cannabis is up 73% in 3 months. Of course, Canopy Growth is about 49%. Cron about 47%. MJ up right there around 30%. And then Tilray's actually down 17%. So it has not been a good 2019 for Tilray. And so back in December, when ACB was trading under $5, that's why I was so adamant about pounding the table and trying to get everybody to buy stock. But anyways, that's all I got for the video, guys. Make sure to drop a thumbs up. I always appreciate it. Let me know how your position of ACB is looking. Tell me where you think they're going to be trading over the summer months. Thank you as always for watching, and have a great day.